Good evening. The time is now 6 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Ms. Perry, can you please call the roll?
Mayor Stephanie Dalton.
Here.
Vice Mayor Holly Berry is absent. Commissioner Jamie Fairbanks Harvey.
Here.
Commissioner Terry Holmes.
Here.
Commissioner Hayes Wilkinson.
Here.
Thank you. For today's invocation, please join me in a moment of silence to reverently collect our thoughts, pray, and ready ourselves for this meeting and the duties to which we have been called. Thank you. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Grandin, will you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next, we have my mayor's report. Welcome, everyone. Happy Women's History Month and happy Social Work Month. We had a great commissioners retreat last week. We reviewed our city's mission and vision statements and made some updates. Performed an updated SWOT analysis, identified issues and priorities, and set new goals for the coming year. Huge thanks to Hannah Rogers with MTAS for facilitating, and to our one member of the public who spent the day with us. I'm looking forward to discussing the finalized report, hopefully at our next commission meeting, and going over some of the finer details at that time. I just returned today from Nashville after attending the Tennessee Municipal League's legislative conference. This is a conference that happens annually. We get to hear from several state folks and state reps. We heard from Commissioner Jim Bryson with the Tennessee Department of Finance and Administration, Comptroller Jason Mumpower, Dr. Herb Byrd III, who has the best name ever, Vice President of the UT Institute for Public Service, Senator Paige Wally, who is the Vice Chair of Senate State and Local Government Committee, Dr. Marianne Wanamaker, who's the Dean of the Baker School of Public Policy and Public Affairs, and Bill Young, who is the Executive Director of the Tennessee Bureau of Ethics. I also attended a Tennessee Municipal League board meeting and committee meeting, and we are chugging along, doing what we can to keep advocating for our 345 cities and towns across the state. In case you missed it, our Active Older Adults program is now having bingo every last Thursday of the month at 12 p.m. So if you want to attend that, put that on your calendar. And I'm excited to have a discussion about an agenda item about adding an agreement with the UTC Department of Music Therapy to work with our Active Older Adults program as well. And in case you missed it, there is currently a burn ban in effect due to dry and high wind weather conditions. So just be aware of that. And this Thursday, the Red Bank Community Food Pantry will be distributing food March 6th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. And if you can volunteer, please sign up at redbankfoodpantry.org. And we will be moving past what would be the Vice Mayor's report because she's out sick. We wish her well, and moving on to Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey's report.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Good crowd. Appreciate it. I also echo what Mayor Dalton has said about the commission retreat. It was very beneficial to all of us and our city as we move forward with the goals and then moving into the budget for the next year. Red Bank Boys High School basketball team is playing at Sequoia this evening. One step closer to going to the state again like they did last year. Nick Fike is the coach, and he is a resident in Red Bank and leads his boys very well to play for our city. play for our high school. Next Listen and Learn will be Monday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. So wear green at Sabor, 6 o'clock. That's at the corner of Signal Mountain Road and Dayton Boulevard. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Next, we have our report from Commissioner Holmes.
Good evening. So again, with the retreat, last Tuesday went well. Like everyone said, we set new goals, vision, and mission statements were looked at as well. Please, if you have questions or comments, you can email, call at our city addresses. Coming up next, and not correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, but March 14th and March 18th, S'mores and Sounds will be at City Park. So come out and get some s'mores and listen to some sounds. Also, there was some recent vandalism at the park, which Kids Corner, I call it. Is it still called Kids Corner? Kids Corner. So if you see something, please say something about that vandalism. It costs money to repair those things and get that back together. And then also check out the website and the newsletter. I think the newsletter just came out a couple of days ago. So check that out. It has a lot of good articles and things to read up on and to stay informed. And then with the website, it has a lot of information to sign up for things and find out things as well. And if you're not sure how to do that, seek out help from a neighbor to help you get on that website. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And finally, we have a report from Commissioner Wilkinson.
Okay. While this didn't happen in the city limits of Red Bank, I wanted to thank all the volunteers who came out to the Sorbo Walden's Ridge Trail Day last weekend. We had 33 volunteers and some members of the county public works who came out to do trail maintenance and clear some down trees. If you haven't been there, it's right outside of the city limits of Red Bank. It's a beautiful park and highly recommend going to see it. I wanted to give a very sincere congratulations to the White Oak Bicycle Co-op for donating their 2000th bicycle back into the community. They've been doing this since 2020, and they work to donate bikes to people who need them for transportation and for kids to recreate. It's an honor to have you guys in the community, and thank you for all the work you guys do. That's what I got.
I think we all echo that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So next we have the city manager's report, Mr. Granum.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I visited Senator Watson in his Nashville office last week to discuss several pieces of pending legislation. I was accompanied by several colleagues from the Small Cities Coalition, and we were very warmly greeted by Senator Watson and his entire staff. Top of the list was a discussion of a proposal to eliminate sales tax on groceries, which would reduce Red Bank's revenues by over $281,000 a year based on last year's receipts. It is my assessment at this time that this legislation is unlikely to pass. We also discussed proposed legislation which could require Red Bank to pay the district attorney or assistant district attorney prosecutorial services at our Red Bank Municipal Court with concurrent jurisdiction. We also discussed proposed legislation that could require cities to pay counties for ambulance services. Both of these issues are early in the legislative process, but bear continued monitoring. It's worth noting that as right now, the Small Cities Coalition is monitoring over 109 pieces of legislation that have some potential to impact local cities in the coalition. And just as a reminder, the Small Cities Coalition is comprised of Saudi Daisy, East Ridge, Collegeville, Lookout, Mountain, and Lakeside, in addition to Red Bank. Last week saw the 4th annual Red Bank Commission retreat facilitated by Hannah Rogers. Hannah is our assigned municipal management consultant from the Municipal Technical Advisory Service, or MTAS, which itself is a part of UT's Institute for Public Service. As in past years, Hannah has crafted a report, which is a complete recap of everything from the retreat and shared it with all of us. It is also available on our City of Red Bank website for everybody to check out. The next step is to bring Hannah's report into the commission and formally adopt the mission, vision, and goals of the city. And we are planning that for the 18 March commission meeting, our next commission meeting. For a look at last year's retreat process, take a look at the work session and regular session from 5 March 2024 and resolution 24-1669. And that is the process we use to receive the report and formally translate it into actionable items for the city. And lastly, please join us for a ribbon cutting ceremony for the new restroom facility at the Community Center Playground, 3653 Tom Weathers Drive, on Thursday, 18 March at 4 o'clock. It'll be the hour preceding our next work session. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Granum. Next, we have our consent agenda. We will be voting on consideration of the minutes from our February 18th work session, our February 18th regular commission meeting, resolution 25-1770, which is an updated memorandum of understanding for our participation on the Child Protective Investigative Team of Hamilton County. Resolution number 25-1771, appointing new members to the Public Art Citizen Advisory Board, and resolution number 25-1773, reappointing members to the Red Bank Festival Citizen Advisory Board, as well as appointing a new member to that advisory board. And if you are one of our current members being reappointed or a new member being appointed, if you would please stand in the audience so we can recognize you. So we have Ms. Sonia Millard, who's also on our Planning Commission and our Board of Zoning Appeals. Peggy Rowe, who owns Vintage and More here in Red Bank. Kathy Billings, right? Yes. Julie Goss, Philip Lucky, those three are joining our Public Art Board, and then Miss Katie Blackwell, who will be joining our Festival Board. We're very grateful for all of you volunteering to serve in this capacity, and thank you very much for the work that you will be doing for our city. With all of that said, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as published?
I'll move.
Okay, have a motion from Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second from Commissioner Wilkinson. Do we have any discussion? Any comments by the residents present? Okay, if there are no more comments, let's call the vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Welcome all of our, and re-welcome all of our board members. Thank you very much. Moving on to unfinished business, we have ordinance number 25-1272, an ordinance of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Red Bank, Tennessee, to amend fiscal year 2025 operating budget to appropriate donation funding from the Red Bank and Saudi Daisy Charitable Foundation, Inc., in the amount of $21,000, and to accept conditions of the grant award. Second and final reading. Director Johnson, do you want to give a quick recap of this?
I can, I apologize.
Thank you.
Yes, annually, the Red Bank Saudi Charitable Foundation solicits options and projects for potential funding for the fiscal year. This year, we did submit for their consideration 2 mural art installations. One is on your agenda this evening. And so it is a journey that is new to them as well as to the city of Red Bank. And so we were the recipients of those funds, total of $21,000.
Excellent. Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Motion from Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second from Commissioner Holmes. Any further discussion? Any comments from the residents present? Okay, there are no comments. Ms. Perry is not in here. Is it the protocol? Is it okay for Mr. Granum to sit in for her place? Okay, Mr. Granum, can you please call the vote?
Mayor Dalton,
Yes.
Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkinson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Holmes.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Excellent. Motion carries on second and final reading.
I like the celebrity shot.
Thank you,
That was
interim
nice.
city recorder Brana.
I had big shoes to fill. Yes, I did. I'm shaking.
Excellent. Okay, moving on to new business, we have item A, resolution number 25-1772, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Red Bank, Tennessee, to authorize the expenditure for installation of a mural painting on the facilities building at Red Bank City Park Kids Corner Playground, utilizing grant funds from the Red Bank and Soddy Daisy Charitable Foundation, Inc., not to exceed $7,000, as recommended by the Red Bank Public Art Advisory Board. Director Johnson.
Thank you. The resolution before you tonight is one of the two art projects that the Red Bank Soddy Daisy Charitable Foundation did award us. The Red Bank Public Art Advisory Board over, I would say this has been a 6-month process from start to finish. When the RFP was first released, they had 10 original artists to submit inquiries. Through their procurement process and evaluation, they did narrow down to 2, now down to 1. So we are communicating with the artists, hopefully to get things lined up to get something started in the next 2 weeks, should our resolution pass this evening.
Excellent. Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move.
I have a motion from Commissioner Wilkinson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second from Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey. Any discussion? I did have a question. I wondered if you missed the work session, we did actually get to see what the mural is going to look like at the city park, and it is available in our, oh, thank you, Ms. Perry. It is available in our agenda packet, but I wondered if it might be added to the Public Art Citizen Advisory Board as something like coming soon.
It will. Our process is to make sure and to be respectful of the artists and their designs.
Sure.
So as we walk through a formal process, once we get resolutions passed for those services to be implemented, then yes, we will show those illustrations on social media as well as our website. And hopefully, as we move through the process, we will hopefully, don't hold my finger to it, but some cameras to be able to film start to finish so that we have a time lapse to capture the activity of the mural being installed.
Excellent. Thank you. And as we discussed in the work session, this will be on all 4 sides of the building.
Correct.
Very exciting.
Nice.
Okay. If there's no further discussion from the board, do we have any comments from the residents present?
That's on the restrooms building?
Yes, correct. Okay. There's no further comments. We'll call the vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to item B, resolution number 25-1774, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Red Bank, Tennessee, authorizing the signing of an affiliation agreement with the University of Tennessee Chattanooga Music Therapy Department to allow students to participate in the Red Bank Active Older Adults Program. Mr. Grady.
Thank you. The resolution before you this evening, Commission, is for the affiliation agreement, as the mayor just stated, between the City of Red Bank and the UTC Music Therapy Department to provide educational experiences for the students while providing enrichment and music programming for the active older adults. Once this agreement is signed, then the next step will be our program assistant, Tegan Barber, who also runs and heads the Active Older Adults program, will work with getting the UTC Music Therapy Department in on the books so that they can start programming with our seniors.
Excellent. This is very exciting. Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
A motion from Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Holmes. Is there any further discussion? Okay. Any comments from the residents present? Okay. There are no comments. Let's call the vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Very excited to add this to our programming for our active older adults participants. Item C, ordinance number 25-1273, an ordinance of the City of Red Bank, Tennessee to amend the fiscal year 2025 operating budget beginning July 1, 2024, and ending June 30, 2025, in order to appropriate unbudgeted expenditures and grant funding for the general fund in the amount of $20,000. First reading. Director Perry.
As stated earlier, last year, the finance director retired. We went through a series of trials and errors. We had about 23 applications to choose from. Chris Pickle, who was working with us from Robert Half, was our best choice. And we decided we wanted to buy out her contract. We negotiated it down from 40,000 to 20,000. And you guys did approve that by resolution last year, and we're just appropriating the funding for it now.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Okay, a motion from Commissioner Wilkinson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey. Any further discussion? Any comments from the residents present? There are no comments. Ms. Perry, can you please call the roll?
Mayor Dalton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Barry is absent. Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey,
Yes.
Commissioner Holmes,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkinson.
Yes.
Motion carries on first reading. Item D, ordinance number 25-1274, an ordinance of the City of Red Bank, Tennessee to amend the Red Bank Beer Ordinance, ordinance number 23-1228, codified at Title 8, Chapter 2, Sections 8-206 et sec in the Red Bank City Code, first reading. Mr. Graby.
Thank you, Mayor Dalton. So as we talked about in the work session, this is just a small change to the beer ordinance that was provided by our city attorney and approved by him. And the only change in it is allowing the beer board at their discretion, but not requiring them to allow beer vendors to do multiple city-sponsored events, which would be things like the Jubilee, Christmas Parade, Food Truck Friday, etc., in one calendar year, so they don't have to do a beer permit for every single event. Again, this is just for city-sponsored events and not events that would happen in our space, but not sponsored by the city.
Okay, great. Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
You got it.
I'll move to approve.
A motion from Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Wilkinson. Is there any further discussion? Okay. Any comments from the residents present? Okay. There are no more comments. Ms. Perry, can you please call the vote?
Mayor Dalton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Barry is absent. Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey,
Yes.
Commissioner Holmes,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkinson.
Yes.
Okay. And motion carries on first reading. And now is the time for citizen comments on items not on the agenda. Mr. Granum.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the time for citizen comments. Please observe these rules. Comments are limited to 3 minutes or less, and the city recorder will operate a timer visible on the dais. Please respect her direction and conclude any comments if time expires. Comments should be addressed to the board as a whole and not to a particular commissioner, the city staff, or the audience. The commission is here to listen, not to respond or engage in back and forth, so please do not expect to reply during citizen comment. At this time, citizens are invited to the podium. Please begin by stating your name and address.
Okay. Appears we don't have any comments this evening. So in that case, we'll move on to adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Motion from Commissioner Wilkinson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Holmes. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.
That was